Right, hello everyone. Welcome to Tuesday night's viewing, or the start of Tuesday night's viewing. Obviously out first, 6 PM. We are at Jds League, which is running slightly late, but not much. See, it is a bit difficult. League at 6 o'clock is very close to people finishing work, etc. So, it would make sense. I'm just going to do the sharing about for the stream. I can hear myself on the stream, so that's always good news. Right, so into the general chat. General chat. Share it into Arc. TV, there we go. And share it into WAOF1 as well, which is the league that I'll be commentating later on. So, where is it? There we go. Excellent, there we go, all the sharing done. So, in a way then, we're here for Jds League as we reach the nitty gritty part of the season, really. Getting towards the end, and we're at Japan for a short qualifying 50% race, which is a bit of Spin City this season, isn't it? But it's a great track, love it. Fallen Pikachu, hello, thanks for joining, my man. Let's see if I crash or not. Been pushing a lot on TT. You've been doing well, I believe, on TT. But of course, TT not race. I'm sure you'll be alright. Just loading up then. So I think we were expecting 12 tonight going by the sign up. It's quite often, as I say, we are getting towards the end of the season, and it's or in the late, certainly in the late part of the season, and it's pretty normal really for numbers to start falling a little bit towards the end of the season in all leagues. So that's to be expected, and 12 it is we got, which is what we expected. So it's good that everybody that signed up was able to turn up. See who's out on track first. State Japan, great circuit. Lots of history here. Lots of previous champions being crowned here. That won't be happening to tonight, but looks like Rash's on his way out, but there is a car ahead of him. Quite see who that is. It's an Alpine, so it's SC. Our Dutch friend. Let's see what he can. Oh, straight away into a spin out of the turn two. It's doesn't matter. Little spin on the outlap never hurt anyone, especially not that early in the outlap. So who does that make first then? So Red Bull now. So it means that Can Dog is first instead now. Stick with him and see what sort of time we can get. Trying to remember what sort of times. I think we should see a 29 tonight for pole. I'm certainly sure Danny can hit a 29, and I doubt he's the only one. I think Whoopi, among probably at least after grid, if not more than that, can probably hit 29 around here in qualifying. So let's obviously first of all get those runs on the board, get a time on the board. Then worry about the super competitive laps after that. So here comes Cam Dog across the line then. Gets this underway. Japan pretty notorious through with drivers. Oh, and there's our first spin on a hot lap. Not our first spin overall, but first on a hot lap, and that must then be Verstappen that's just gone past. So we'll pick his lap up. It's come through Sector 1, as I say, is a bit notorious amongst drivers, certainly sim racing drivers on F1. Its first sector. On last year's game, you literally you'd stay away from the curves like they were the plague. You can actually use them a bit this time, but Verstappen takes an alternative line through the hairpin, and he wouldn't have lost time through doing that, I don't think. There's loads of different lines you could take through that hairpin that they all got their own little advantages. He heads down to the end of Sector 2. And he's on 114.1. I'm trying to work from memory to Sunday night I did comes around here, and I'm trying to think if the low 14 was competitive, and it does seem alright to me. I think it was okay. Let's see what he manages over the line then. So it's 30.9, so yeah, we'll definitely see faster than that. But that's not a bad opener at all from Raf. Who's coming round? Someone's coming through the hair chicane. That's SC. Of course, had the spin on his out lap and turn 2. It's gone P2 down on 31. Sorry, it's just been dropped to P3 by JD. So 32.1 for SC, 31.5 by JD, 32.5 by Chels. Whoopie with a whopping 48.9. Don't ask me to say that too many times. So it's an invalidation for Tank. Let's go. It's the Ferrari on the way round. That's Donkey Kong. So DK, I call him. Just coming up to the end of Sector 2. And it's 114.7. So I think, obviously, when we get to the competitive end of the session, we should be seeing 113s through Sector 2. Let's add to the chicane. DK comes. Across the line, 31.8. Puts him in P3 for the moment, so a good start from the Ferrari boys. Here comes Danny. 45.9. It's not a proper lap, is it? Dalton Lad not on the hot lap. And Dog is invalidated, so I expect Cam will probably be heading for the pits this time. There's a couple of invalidations for him, so that's Lordson. Might be building up to a lap, or might be on his way in, I'm not sure. Oh, his Whoopi goes fastest then, 130.3. He's a man in form. I raced him last night. He beat me to the win last night in Miami. I came P2. He beat me by nearly 10 seconds. Absolutely on fire he was last night. Fallen Pikachu on a 32.0. DK. Slaughton, then he's just coming out the chicane. Looks like he's starting a new lap, so I'll stick with him. I won't do the hilly hot lap with him because I know he often listens, so I don't want to put him off. I'll wait for somebody else to do that. Oh, spinner. Another Sector 1 spin. It's not the first we've seen. I doubt it's going to be the last. Just needs to make sure he gets back on track. Don't want to get beached at some point. But also doesn't want to get in the way of anyone else. But I think he's safe because there is a car coming round. It goes round again. Oh dear, it's like ice skating sometimes. So let's move on then. Fallen Pikachu not improving this lap. I didn't think he would be. I think he's on an in lap. Danny has gone fastest, by the way, 29.897. But it's still early doors yet. I still expect to see quite a few drivers into the 29s, so... So I think Verstappen, yeah, he's just coming through sets of 2 on an out lap. So, was it an out lap? That's one. Yeah, it is an out lap. Okay. So, we'll stick with him. And in fact, let's do the hilly hot lap then, because I don't want to forget about it. I will. Comes out the chicane. He'll open the DRS up here. I had a little moment on the grass there, but shouldn't really affect his lap time. Head down to turn 1, which is flat out basically, and then heavy braking and late apex into turn 2. And we come out into this awkward first sector, twisting and turning. Most of it taken in 5th gear. You may see a bit of 6th gear for some. You might see a spin from others. And into the barrier. It's luckily it's not taking a wheel off, so just a bit of front wing damage, so we'll recover that to the pits. Who else we got going then? I think Fallen Pikachu's on an out lap. It's definitely not a hot lap, so yeah, I've definitely not done a lap with Fallen Pikachu before, so we'll do a hilly hot lap with Fallen Pikachu. Stick with him. Right, I do know he's got. He definitely had the stream on, so I hope I don't put him off by doing this, but I think that people turn it down when they're actually oh, he's coming into the pits. Well, that's cheeky. We'll find another victim, don't you worry. He's on that lap. There's McLaren behind him. Must be JD who's on an out lap as well. What about Whoopi? What are you doing? You're on an out lap. I'll tell you what, let's stick with Whoopi then, and we'll do the hilly hot lap with him. He's coming through the chicane now. Pikachu's controller died. Okay, so Whoopi over the line, DRS open, we head into turn 1, which, as I said previously, flat out, and you're late on the brakes, late turn in to reach, oh my goodness, and he spun as well. Should I just ditch the hilly hot lap tonight? Because everybody I try and do it with keeps spinning. That curve there is, well, they're all slippy, but that one in particular, you touch it, you're gone. It's completely unforgiving. SC looks like he might be on a lap, so we'll pick it up. So we're into the double right hand here at the end of sector 1, start of sector 2. Under the bridge, always got to be a bit careful on exits, a little bit slippy, particularly if you're a no traction player. Into the hairpin, and obviously open up the steering, enables you to get the power on earlier, quicker. Got this long right hander, which is effectively a straight, just flat out all the way through. Then you got the double left, which is an important part of the circuit actually. It's a 5-place grade penalty for Charles Kitchen. Really important part of the track. It's SC's not on the lap, but we'll stick with it in a way for the hilly hot lap, just so we got it in. I'm a bit worried everybody's going to spin when they're trying to do it otherwise. And obviously into the chicane to finish the lap, you'd be on the inside curb there normally, taking that in 3rd, I would suggest, but you might see some in 2nd. You might even, if you watch Danny, you'll probably see him taking it in 4th, I'd imagine. So, Charles Kitchen, what did you do to get a 5-place grid penalty, you naughty boy? Coming out onto the back straight then, heading up towards the chicane. That's more like what you'd expect to see for the chicane. Oh, it's a bit wide on the exit, but Anyway, across the line comes Lawton and is P10 on 32.3. Still Zero Scott and Tank left to get times on the board. Candog is out of qualifying. Chel's Kitchen is out of qualifying. And Chel's, we know, has got a 5-place grid penalty. Although I'm not entirely sure what that was for. DK starting another hot lap. So the guys that tried to do the hilly hot lap with, none of them got through. Oh goodness me! I was about to say none of them got through sector 1. I wasn't even doing the hilly hot lap with DK, and he's not got through sector 1 in a way. It seems to be if the camera's on you, watch out. I best not say the drivers I'm on with anymore, am I? Into the pits comes Whoopi. Verstappen, his lap was invalidated, but got right up to the back of whoever that was. I think it was Zero Scott. Oh, no, I don't know. I think it was Zero Scott, but I'm not entirely sure. But so he'd already invalidated the lap in a way, so it didn't actually make any difference. Oh no, it wasn't Zero Scott then, because Zero's over the line and starting a new lap, so see how he manages or fares. And at the moment, Danny sat on pole on 29.897, which I promise you is a very beatable time. So he's not on target to take this pole by setting an absolute world beating lap. It's a good lap, but it's not world beating. So he's on an out lap now to see if he can improve that. And I think that's testament to the fact that he doesn't feel that he can actually trust it to stay there. His teammates also on the lap now. Just ran wide through the 2 left-handers, but hasn't invalidated him. How's he doing through sector 2? So 4 thousandths down, but obviously a very short final sector here. There is always the potential to gain more time through the chicane though. It's gold mine for time, that chicane. And across the line he comes, then Fallen Pikachu does improve by basically a 10th, but unfortunately no position gain on that occasion. It's I think Danny actually, isn't it? Yeah, because we were just watching Pikachu, so it must be Danny. So that was Danny starting his hot lap and has spun in sector 1. So they're all vulnerable to it. And it is a nightmare, this track. It's all sector 1 most of the time. You rarely see spins in other areas of the track. The only one I can think of really is just here actually. So is it just here? No, we just gone past the bit I was thinking of, which is the double right-hander. The second part when you go under the bridge. If you catch a bit of curb on the outside, it can throw you across the track. But if you're careful, you know, at the moment we're in qualifying, where everybody is at the point of trying to stick the fastest laps they can in now. When you're in a race, and it's more about consistent pace rather than out and out run lap pace. It's a lot easier to control that sort of thing. Zero at the chicane then, and heads to the line. 131.2 puts Zero into P7. So, a bit further down than he's used to, but Where's that Ferrari off to? Alright, right time there, DK. Lawton has had a spin. That's in the first sector. So he retires from the session. Tank, I think, having a go. Just going for the two right-handers. This was the one I was on about. Goes under the bridge, look. Let's come back across that bridge in just a moment. Point that out to you when we do. Basically doing is driving around here, and then these two left-handers will take you back on target to go back over the bridge. So Danny retires from the session. So 29.897. At the moment, it's looking like it's going to be good enough. That looked like it was somebody else having a bit of trouble. Tank crosses the sector 2 on a 13.8. So this is competitive then from Tank. Heads to the line, and it's 30.8. That puts him in P3. Whoopi was improving slightly. Just over a tenth he improves by, 30.2. Verstappen improves for half a second, goes P3, taking that off a Tank. Fallen Pikachu has invalidated, so that then is the end of qualifying. So we've got pole position to Danny, and I think he would quite happily admit that that's not the best pole time around here. It's that was very much open to be beaten, but ultimately it hasn't been, no. And Danny does take pole on 29.897. Whoopi P2 30.229. Then Verstappen on 30.411, and we start to space out then to Tank in P4. But he only did the one run, so probably could have gone faster with multiple runs. SCP5, JD in 6, Camdog 7, Zero Scott 8, Chell's Kitchen 9, Fallen Pikachu in 10, DK 11, and Lawton from 12. Won't start at the back though, because Camdog has a 5-place grid penalty, as does Chell's Kitchen, so they will actually start 11 and 12, and Lawton will move up to 10, DK up to 9, and whoever it was in 10th up to 8th, etc, etc. So, hey, Whoopi. Hilly outlap with me next lap, I won't disappoint, says Whoopi, again. Oh dear. I want to know, on my hot lap, two people was going slow on the straight, had to overtake them both. Oh, I see, had two purple sectors invalidated, unlucky. So close. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking for, Pikachu, but people are going on slow on the straight. They're not on hot laps. They should move to the side of the track where they're off the racing line. If they don't, you should clip it and put it forward. Put it in to the stewards. So, we get off on the deformation lap then. Bring the tyres up to start with. So as you can see, everybody's starting on medium tyres, bar one, which is Tank, who's going the opposite, and he's going hard to medium. I think if we could, I think we'd all perhaps opt to start hard to medium, but I think there's always the risk that the safety car can come out. There's such a big window where the safety car can come out that suits the guys on mediums to then switch to the hards and go to the end. It's unfortunate. I don't. It's even though I do think it's the best strategy, the hard to start on hards. It doesn't actually work that often, but When it does, it does. So we'll see if it works for Tank today. Nobody opts in for soft tyres off the start. Does give you a nice little advantage on the softs, but especially off the line. But they don't last very long around here. 5 laps, probably 6 laps would be generous. Let's put it that way. Whoopi and Candog get disqualified at opposite ends of the grid, but not sure how that happened. But never mind. They'll both get underway in the race. That's the main thing. We'll hope it gives us a good camera. Not that one. That's not a good camera. Looking into Danny's eyes as he looks ahead to turn 1. That we just can't see anything. That's wonderful. That I think that's probably the best. That's from Tank's car. So a few more disqualifications. That's people not hitting their grid stops properly. Always happens. So lights coming on. You can hear them. Can't see them. And out they go. Both the leaders seem to react pretty well. The Ferrari of Verstappen straight up to third. It's Tank who's not gotten off the line very well. Almost expected on hards, to be honest. As they come around turn 1 and 2. Everybody making it round at the moment. All good. Tank is side by side now with Zero Scott, who's looking to get up into P6. Take advantage of his medium compound tyres compared to Tank's hards. Tank at this point, he's trying to hold on to, doesn't lose as many positions as possible, but loses the least amount of positions possible, but ultimately he's just going to hold on to the fact that his is a different strategy. So let's just get the position changes. So we do have a yellow flag. It is right at the back though. It's DK in the Ferrari. He's hidden under the bridge there, look, but he's back underway. Okay, looks alright to me. Yeah, no front wing damage or anything, so he looks okay. He could just get on his way. So in a way, Danny leads Whoopi P2, and as you can see right on the back of Danny at the moment, you get a tow up the back straight. It's a real overtaking opportunity up to the chicane. Actually, the best overtaking opportunity would be the DRS on the main home straight, pit straight, whatever you want to call it. But Whoopi has gone side by side with Danny, and good racing from the pair of them, no contact. Danny defends it, but he's going to come on straight under attack again here. And Raf is beginning to get pretty close to the back of both of them as well. Very close, in fact. So, little battle's going on further down as well. Lawson and Candog are battling, as it looks like Lawson's come out in P8 there. Still very close. But let's just go down to that one. Still battling, as you can see. Oh, Lawton has ghosted there. I'm not sure why. He had a little trip off track. So Candog up into P8. Lawson's dropped down to 11 now. Not sure. His tyres are struggling a bit at the moment, but he's definitely with us. That's all right then. Okay. So the leaders, and as you can see, there's a real battle behind as well. SC right on the back of Verstappen. So our top 6 are still within a second of each other as we head up through the end of the second sector and on the way up to the chicane once more. And then Tank's only 1.3 behind, with Candog in his DRS zone as well. So DRS will activate over the line this time, but they won't actually get it until the end of lap 3. It's, obviously, really, Danny sets fastest lap. Go. Just say, the end of this lap, when they come through the chicane once more, they will get DRS. So if anybody's within sort of about, I think you need to be under 4 attempts to the driver ahead to get a real opportunity into turn 1. Unless the driver ahead happens to be running especially low wings. High wing, sorry. That's how close you need to be. So, Japan is another one of those head scratchers on setups, actually, because it's... Well, how can I put it? It's... Of course you need to set up with downforce to be able to get through the corner as well, but at the same time you can't ignore the long straight that leads up to the chicane, the back straight, or the home straight. You can't ignore those parts of the track. You'll be a sitting duck for anybody that gets close to you otherwise, so you have to take them into account, so you kind of have to set up with a balance. So it is a track you'd be willing almost to sort of forget a little bit about qualifying and just do the best lap time you can, but with your race setup, because it's so important to make sure you got the right setup for the race on. See, there's Whoopi's DRS open. You can go on board, but say that the gap was nearly 7 tenths when they come out the chicane, so it's a bit too far away at the minute. So, SC then, it's gotten past Verstappen for P3. And, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Lawson had to pit at the end of that lap. We saw him on, and that's Danny! Danny's been off track. Who sets a 1 and drops to P4, and it might not be the end of it because his tyres are going to be struggling. He may actually have to pretty much give up a place or two here, just so he can... Yeah, he does, look. Gives up a couple of places there. And that's because he knows full well his tyres aren't going to be able to cope at the moment, so it's no good trying to battle. You just risk taking both of you out. Just to mention that DK is catching the back of the pack. He's almost... Well, he's 7.5 seconds back, but he's a lot closer than he was. Let's just head back up then. So, Raph not really close enough to SC to make any sort of move. But Zero, potentially. I don't know what that camera angle was doing. So Zero heads up right on the back of JD. As he's going for a move into the chicane. He does indeed. Side by side. Didn't appear to make contact in. From what I could see, Zero still gets the DRS as well. So should be able to keep this into turn 1. JD extremely close to him. DRS wasn't enabling Zero Scott to get away, and I wonder if that's a little sign actually that JD's running a lower wing. Could well be, and well, Danny's had to pit actually. So I'd assume is it to hard or is he going to softs as we get a yellow flag and set to 1, and that's his teammate. It's all going wrong for Alfa Romeo. Fallen Pikachu has a spin, so Alfa Romeo not off to the greatest start in this race after such a good qualifying from the team, but got a move going on there from Cam Dog as he gets past Tank. Remember, Tank's starting on those hards, just bear that in mind. He's still at the point at the moment where the mediums will be the faster tyre out of the two, so Tank wouldn't be in too bad a place if he could latch on to the bank of Cam Dog here so that he gets DRS down the home straight. If he can stay there in that DRS zone, that'd be pretty good, as it looks like Lawson's just had a little moment and set to 1. But again, he gets back up and keeps going again. So nobody on that lap close enough to make a move into turn 1. Yellow set with Perrin in set to 2 and Lawton. Just seems to be struggling through there a little bit. And that is probably because of going off track. I expect his tyres are lit up again. Oh, this Tank gets past Camdog. Oh! Camdog spinning round. He's had a moment. spun around, he's in the gravel. And that was DK going through. And CamDog gets going again then. Oh yeah, those tyres are going to be horrendous because they're going to be so hot. I bet they're around 110 degrees, so it's just going to spin, spin, spin all the time. It's going to need to drive pretty pedestrian-like. And again, well, that's a stupid penalty from the game. Which has been caught on a camera there, CamDog. So anyway, let's leave CamDog to that because SC has caught the back of Whoopi here. Certainly within Whoopi got a good exit actually, so I don't know whether he's going to be quite close enough here at SC. It's getting there. Oh wow, what a straight line of speed that turned into. And so SC takes the lead of the race, up 4 places now. Whoopi's still there. So staying side by side. Through. Oh, there's contact! And that sent Whoopi round. It's alright. SC going away with that one, but I think unless there's any sort of damage to SC's car that we can't see, like side pod or anything like that. But Whoopi is going again, but he's down to P6. I'm looking at his car. I can't see, once again, I can't see anything obvious on the car. So unless there's some other form of damage, like again, like side pod or something like that. And CamDog is out, and that could be a safety car. It might not be. He is off track, but he's out in sector 1. Oh, Danny. Sector track there from Danny. Not enjoying his trip to Japan at the moment. So, back up to the no form of safety car required. So the stewards. So we're back up to Verstappen now, who's on the back of SC for the lead. Maybe a bit far back this time, I think. About 6.5 attempts coming out the chicane, so a bit far back. Whoopi has recovered it round to the pits, so you can only assume. Well, either he had damage or his tyres were just too lit up, and so he's decided to pit off of them. Fallen Pikachu into the pits as well. Sector 1 yellow, and I think that's Lawton. Stick with this one for the moment. There's also another battle going on between JD and Tank at the moment. So obviously Whoopi pitting on to what was presumably hards to go to the end. Obviously might have a little gap here where he can eat into the leaders a little bit. Fresh tyres. I'm assuming you're looking at a normal strategy being something like a lap 12 pit stop off of the mediums, lap 11 or 12 should be about right. And Verstappen then, his SC struggles out of the chicane. Verstappen's already passed when he picks up DRS, and that will enable him to take the lead of this race. Driving very well at the moment. So him up into first, that's up 2 places. SC still up 3 places, but now P2. Zero Scott is getting after them as best he can. JD done very nicely in P4 at the moment. And his teammate, I think, has crashed coming out of the chicane. Might see him into the pits here, I think. Oh no, looks like he's carried on, Woodson. Danny sets fastest lap in his quest to get back. Sort of forward, gets past his teammate there. Stick with this as JD and Tank continue to battle. I'm just going to nip the tyres. Yeah, Danny. So when Danny pitted, he did actually go to fresh mediums. Wasn't tempted to try hards to the end. Which you can understand because he's got an awful long way to go, and ultimately he's trying to make up time on driver's head, not sorry, what I'm trying to say is on hards would have been very difficult to do. Do need to just nip up to the leaders. SC not going to attempt that one. Let's go to Tank and JD then. Tank not able to get alongside, but you can see how these hards are starting to come back towards Tank now. He's faster, really, than the guys ahead of him at the moment. Or the guys that are on mediums, I should say. So, Tank very much staying with JD here, and he's just very stay close enough through the chicane, isn't it? Which is where the two leaders are coming up to, so I'm just going to have to... Let's see. Look at the overspeed. He has to be running a low downforce, SC, to get that sort of overspeed. So, back into P1 then for SC. And once again, the Corsido holds off Tank. So, Tank will be looking forward to the second half of his race, going on to the medium tyres. I expect him in somewhere around the end of lap 16, would be my guess. So we got this one, and then we got the battle gun for the lead, but they're sort of swapping positions a little bit at the moment, so I'm not too sort of worried about that. I think the main telling bit is going to be who pits first. Whatever you do, don't pit the same lap. So as it is at the moment, Raf in P2, you would think, can react to SC. So I would expect the pit stop around now. Head up to chicane once more. Tank looks to make the move on JD, outbreaks him into the chicane and is up into P4. And Lawton retires. He's crashed in sector 1. So SC in the lead. I'm just looking for where he is. Lawton, he's just around here somewhere. Oh, he's on the inside. He's well off track. Absolutely well off track. So, hence why we're not getting a safety car. We did have a pitter though. Zero Scott into the pits. And has moved to his hard tyres. Promoting Tank into P3 and JD up to 4. And Charles Kitchen up to 5. Having a good race as well, Charles. Since he got past, Tank's just created a bit of a gap to JD, just about 1.3 seconds, and you've got to think that now's the time to be pitting. So as I say, you've got to expect Raf to react this lap to SC. If SC pits, he stays out. If he doesn't, then pit himself, as Cam leaves the set. Oh, he was the retirement earlier on, so okay. So neither pit again. It's interesting. Most like they're willing the other one into pitting, saying that I could keep going. You need to pit, lad, and I want the overcut on you. But actually, I think they're at the point where the overcut's probably not as strong, guys. So they should be looking for an undercut now, because the medium tires will be that worn now. And so into the pits is JD, onto his hard tyres to the end, and DK also followed him in. And same case scenario, hard tyres now till the end. Whoopi progresses past both of those and is up into P6, and is also going to the end, remember, on the tyres that he's on. So hard tyres, only 5 laps old, they'll get to the end reasonably comfortably. There's 20 laps they'll need to do to get to the end, and I think they can certainly manage that. You'd normally be doing about 16 laps on a minute weight. We have a slight trouble with performance towards the end of the Grand Prix, but as long as he's created a bit of a gap to whoever the car is behind him, he should be okay. So here's, oh sorry, I hit the wrong button. So SC into the pits. So which is it? Which is going to work? Is it going to be the overcut or the undercut that works? In my opinion, those mediums have got to be too worn. So for me, surely it's the undercut that will work. So out he comes then. Sir Scott is come down the home straight. And it could play a part. The gap's not much, and of course SC's got to get those tyres up to temperature. See the gap dissipating at the moment as Danny is into the pits for what will be his second stop, and a stop that will take him to the end of the race as well. His teammate goes through. Yeah, look, Zero has very much got within the 1 second of SC, so that's a huge undercut from Zero Scott. I can't remember exactly what the gap was when he actually pitted, but he certainly wasn't within the 1 second, so the undercut has very much worked for Zero. So Verstappen is in and reacting to the stop from SC. So Tank will take the lead of this race as he goes through, getting close to the end of his stint on the hards. And Raf, SC, sorry, he's nowhere near, is he? Yeah, so Raf's going to get out ahead of him, but his tyres aren't going to be up to temperature, so he's going to have a hard time keeping SC behind through sector 1 here. SC needs to be aware of what's going on. He looks like he is to me. He does need to be aware that that car ahead is on very cold tyres. Hey, Dagooner. Just getting ready for Jeddah, man. Don't really like it now. I can't say I'm a fan, mate, but I must admit, since it's been added into the game, it has been home to some great races. In the game, so well, somehow Verstappen's managing to hold off SC despite the cold tyres. And it is it's probably about 80% of the lap it takes for the tyres to get into a workable window, really. So you still be struggling a bit as SC does go through, but he's pretty much got those tyres there now as Raf, so you won't mind SC going through so much. He'll have the DRS. But I think the main thing really is Zero Scott. He's in the DRS range as well, and through goes Raf Stappen then. That's the problem with making the move on the way up to chicane. I think you've got to time it right. If you time it right, you still get the DRS on the exit. So look at Zero Scott, so close there to Raf Stappen, but he's not the only one who's benefited here. I mean, obviously, ultimately, it's not a benefit for Whoopi, but he's only 2 seconds behind, considering what happened earlier on. He's doing a great job catching back up, but look at Tank. 11.2 seconds to lead. Obviously, he's still got a pit, and he's going to be looking at. He's obviously going to be looking at JD. Would be his target because he got past him just before JD pitted, but the gap wasn't that much. So, he definitely wants to be out ahead of Chel's Kitchen, which he should do comfortably. But, it is this lap. I do expect him in the end of this lap. I think Tank. If it's not this one, it will be the next one. But, so he does stay out. He must be liking those hard tyres. You can't blame him because he. Quite frank, he must be looking at, what did I say the gap was? 11.2 seconds. Sort of, well, not really, it's 11 seconds, so he's not actually losing hardly any time to Raf Stappen. So, actually, he wants his medium tyres to be the best they can be. He's just got to be aware. One of the things you can't trust on this game, unfortunately, and it is a case that you definitely can't trust it, is the second page of the MFD. It tells you what position you'll come out of in, and you definitely can't trust that little bit of information. It's so wrong sometimes. It's ridiculous. Raf Stappen has managed to create a little gap to SC, so maybe SC not having as much fun on these hards at the moment as he was on the mediums. It was a sector 1 yellow, I believe that was Fallen Pikachu. Well, it might not have been actually, it might have been, no, it's Danny. My apologies, Pikachu, it's Danny. So Tank into the pits then. So we know Raf will go through, we know SC, Zero Scott, Whoopi will all go through. JD I expect to go through, although it could be pretty close. So there's Tank. JD goes through, he will be out ahead of Chel's Kitchen. No worries about that one. And now Tank will go on the hunt. The bad news is he done what I think he's done? Oh no, it's a corner cut in, so it's 3 second penalty he's got at the moment. That's the only bad news he's got, is that he has picked up a penalty. That's Whoopi having a little cross-country run. And it's allowed JD to get onto the back of him. But that cross-country run was through gravel, so it's going to have to be a bit on the careful side for the next sort of few corners. Might be a little bit annoyed with himself because he was doing so well catching up to the cars ahead. Only the one place away from podium. But, it was always going to be a big ask for him to actually catch them and get past them. But he's got very good pace as Whoopi, so he certainly might have been able to do it. Danny is back in, and he's switched to soft tyres to the end of this race. So expect Danny come up in the next couple of laps. Expect. And here's JD. He's going to get the DRS. Moves to the inside. And will. Oh, goodness me. Save if he seems to still be side by side, but yeah, JD does take the place, and up into P4 he goes. Zero Scott really starting to apply pressure now to SC for P2. Donkey Kong, bless him, he had that spin earlier on in the race. Was it first lap or second lap? And all he's been able to do since then is just try and get back to the back of the pack, and he's so close to that. He's only 2.8 off of Charles Kitchens. He's so close to having done that, but ultimately now with Lawson and Camdog out, everybody who finishes will finish in the points. So just keep going, boys. Do love this Japan track. Always. I know people complain about it. Drivers complain about it. Drivers always complain about it. But ultimately, it does actually give us a great race all the time. So, in terms of viewers, because it's not normally a big safety car track. The average is only something like, it's less than 2, the average. So, go then. It's Whoopi getting back past JD. Apologies, guys, I missed that one. Just watching the other battle. Back past JD goes. Obviously, you need to create a gap, and that on the back of JD is the ever-charging tank now. Oh, Whoopi! He's ended up round. Get going. Just got Charles Kitchen on his way round now. So should back up to speed. Just got to be a bit careful again with the tyres, isn't he? But, okay, let's get the tank then, who's caught the back of JD and is, as I say, on a charge, and he will be right the way through to the end. He went a bit long on the hard stint to enable him the opportunity to really push these medium tyres right the way through to the end of this race. Doesn't need to look after them. They'll make it easily. Danny, there you go, there's the fastest lap from Danny, 1:31.022. Very much expected after the switch to soft tyres. Ooh, a little touch there. Careful. Tank was beside going into, was slightly behind going into the chicane, so we will get the DRS here. And the game's going to give me the worst camera angle in the world. So there's the DRS. Really anything, I mean, JD did what he could to try and battle it, but ultimately he was never going to defend against fresh medium tyres on 8-lap worn hard. So, oh, but Tank has lost it. He spun. He's reset the track. Should be resetting the track. Not the first one I've seen. Saw Danny do it as well. Don't reset the track. Don't like seeing people do that. I'm not actually sure in Jds League if it is against the rules, by the way. I'm just saying. I don't like it. Evening, Gotcha. Hello, my friends. How are you? You happy with your team in our league, buddy? Have you seen them? So Zero Scott then, who's still very much on the back of SC. He's just... It's been right on the back of him for lap after lap, but it seems to be the actual getting past that seems to be the problem at the moment. The great Murray Walker used to say, catching is one thing, overtaking is quite another. His Murrayisms. Sector 1 yellow, and I think that's DK. It is. This is Donkey Kong. What's happened there? Whoopi's gotten ahead of Tank. Don't know if that was an overtake or a mistake from Tank, I'm not sure. It's medium stint not working out the way that Tank wanted it to. He's actually got his teammate right on the back of him now as well, Charles Kitchen. Alex Caru Goat joined. But you could take your Carry Goat and go and join another lobby instead. Hey boss man, good mate, pleased with draw, going to be a good season. That's good, gotcha. And yeah, I think it's going to be a brilliant season. I think ultimately dropping it to 2 tiers was unequal, was the correct thing to do, so we'll see if that proves right through the season, but hopefully it'll help with the dwindling in numbers that we were having last season. And yeah, hey, well, as you can see, going to be ready in loads of time. What is that from Tank? He's just driven straight off the track.
Russia.
Now appears to be driving. Oh, you're kidding me! That's a full yellows. I can't see an actual safety car. I think he's caused a VSC. If that caused a full safety car, there would be some angry people out there. It's caused a VSC, so we might get away with it, but well, it looks a bit strange. It looks a bit strange. I'm not quite sure how he's gotten away with not retiring, actually, but he has lost his wing. But it was definitely a little bit strange. Whether that was an attempt at deliberate retirement or whether that was maybe a wheel disconnect or something like that, can't be sure. Whoopi asks me every week if there's a seat for tonight after this race. I always say no. What's the bet now there's a seat tonight? He doesn't want to ask. There's a seat, it's supposed to be full. I reckon it'll be okay. There's good teams and equal. Yeah, that's deliberately done actually. Gotcha. So hopefully it'll work out. VSC is finished in a way, and on we go. Whoopi is into the pits. And on go a set of softs. Tank is into the pits and he's retired. He's definitely going to have to explain what just happened. It was disconnect and it's unlucky. It's quite clear that medium stint wasn't going the way he wanted. Which is why I may be a bit suspect as to what happened. But in a way, we go back to this battle that continues on and on. Stops happening. Danny's back on another fresh set of softs. Maybe he knows Whoopi wanted softs, so has done it. I don't know. Maybe he knows that Whoopi's done it, so he's going to defend his fastest lap. He did pit for softs quite early, actually, Danny, so they probably were struggling a little bit, to be fair. Had a late dropout. Oh, goodness me. It's always one, isn't there? Always one well. So the gap between SC and Zero Scott's just increased a bit and gone over to 1 second, so we may be out of battles here. Whoopi picks an extra 3 seconds up. I think ultimately it's going to affect his race. He's got Donkey Kong good 30 seconds behind, look, so any penalties Whoopi's got aren't going to affect him. He's just looking to pick the extra point up for fastest lap, and he's obviously going to have a battle going on with Danny for that. But as Danny does break his own fastest lap at this point then, 1:30.8. Hello, Tom Stroud. Thanks for joining, man. Welcome to the party as we just wind down towards the end of this Japanese Grand Prix. We got the top two just gone back within a second of each other again. So, that's SC on a late charge. Actually, he fell out the 1 second to Raf a long time ago, and it's almost like he's just suddenly gotten to grips with these hard tyres. Maybe he's getting a bit of a second wind on them. He's almost saying to Verstappen, I'm not just going to let you have this, you're going to have to keep me behind at least for the last lap. But ultimately you would think that as long as Raf crosses onto the final lap in the lead, that would be that really, because there's no other DRS zones around the track, so doing what he can, isn't he, SC? To be fair to him, look at that gap closing. It's down to 6 tenths. Still closing. Down to 4 tenths going into the chicane. Increases a bit on exit, which it always does out of that chicane, but that's why it's always so hard to stay within a DRS. Or not within a DRS, but it's close enough to actually make the move. It's never easy around here, and certainly wasn't close enough on that occasion, but... Oh no! Oh no, he's pushed too hard! He's pushed too hard as SC, and he's going to have to recover. No resets track from him, look, does it correctly. Nice to see SC. Well, he could smell victory. He could smell victory. He knew that if he could stay close enough, going by the pace he had last lap, he'd definitely have had a chance up into the long straight, up into the chicane. As it is now, he may come under a bit of pressure from JD if his tyres are a bit heated up for the final podium spot, but I definitely think that was SC, could smell victory then, and he's just pushed that little bit too hard. So, been a really good race this. I've rather enjoyed this. It's amazing actually, because we all want full grids, but actually quite often the grids that are sort of 12 to 16 can sometimes turn out to be the best races, and this has been a good one. I've enjoyed this. There's been lots of good battling. 1 or 2 mistakes, 1 or 2 little moments that may need looking at, but that happens all races. So, in a way, across the line goes Verstappen and wins in Japan. Zero Scott picks up P2. SC will pick up P3. JD in 4. Couldn't quite get him. Charles Kitchen plodded around really. He's not made any mistakes. Picked up positions when others have made mistakes. And he's going to pick up a very fine P5 for Williams. And Whoopi on his way up to the chicane. He's had his little fastest lap battle with Danny, but it looks like Danny's going to win that one. It's still P6 for Whoopi, 6-8 points. Whoopi, if you're still listening to the stream, because I know you do, if you're still listening to the stream, well, needs a driver for 8 o'clock if you want to do it, buddy. Just let him know, or let me know, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just let one of us know if you want to do it. DK then, in the Ferrari. Early spin for him, but hurt his race, but he's kept it going, he's kept on, and in the end, it's going to come P7, pick up a good 6 points. Danny P8 and Fallen Pikachu. It was in P9. Had already finished. So, oh, low fuel mode was it? Whoopee. Okay. No, says SC. Unlucky SC. That was Fallen Pikachu reversed over the finish. Yep. I have Be Prepared for Chaos. I have what? Oh, I haven't raced Jeddah before, Strady says. Really? Wow, okay. Well, can you see that? Whoopi says yes, I'll do it. So there you go. So right on the podium celebrating. And ultimately the sort of moment that's going to be talked about, or a couple of moments maybe that's going to be talked about. The earliest occurring was probably Danny's spin, which gave up the lead to Whoopi, and then a little bit later on the contact between Whoopi and SC, I think, are going to be the two talked about bits. But ultimately, all in all, there's always something that happens, guys, but all in all, I thought that was a really good race. 1:30.809 took the fastest lap for Danny then. What did you... 33.619. Okay, so anyway, just to confirm, Verstappen wins, Zero Scott P2, SC3, JD4, Charles Kitchen 5, Whoopi 6, Danny 7, DK 8, Fallen Pikachu 9. Unfortunately, Tank, Lawton, Camdog out of the race, DNF'd, TNK, or Tank, you need to let someone know what's happened to you there, man, because if that was a deliberate attempt to end your race, that is not okay. So there we have it. That's all the instants, just in case the stewards need them. Okay, guys. Oh, driver of the day. I think probably got to go to our winner tonight. I can't really sort of. I don't know how I can possibly not give it to him, quite frankly. He's done a great job, he got the move done when he did. May come under a bit of pressure at the end if it weren't for the spin from SC, but yeah, see, look, you did great, man. Just pushed a bit too hard maybe at the end there, but you still got a podium, you still did well, so well done. There we go, yeah. But let's say Ralph Staffen takes my driver of the day. Shout out for JD as well, I thought he did a great job. So, and obviously the podium boys. So, in a way, thanks very much, guys. I'll be back at 7 for the 8. Sorry, let me start that again. I'll be back at 8 p.m. for WAOF1, and we are racing at Jeddah. So please go and watch that one if you can. It looks like Whoopi is going to be taking a seat in that race as well, so to help us out. So thanks for that, Whoopi. And yeah, so guys, please come and join me for that one. Thanks very much to everybody who's watched live on this one, and thanks very much to anyone who watches it back. I thought it was a really good race, so thank you very much, guys. Well done to the drivers, and we'll look forward to next week. So we're getting close to the end of the season, so we're starting to hot up. So look forward to it. Good night. God bless. Please, if you can, join me at 8, and I'll see you then.